Time now for the Nick Hart Show, our weekly chat with the Gibson Southern Titans head football coach, Nick Hart. It's a presentation of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including Hip Dentistry, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, JMCO Technologies, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, MyTech Systems, Robert Goob Vermillion of Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, Rhythm Church, Evansville, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Tenbarge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, TYFL, Vogler Metalwork and Design Incorporated, Reinbrecht Homes, Stodgel Funeral Home and Monuments, Young's Auto Body, Light Transport, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Cordray Insurance, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Du Bois County Garage Doors, Duke Energy, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, Heidorn Construction, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hen Orthodontics, Hillside Gardens, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Dady Oil, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solman Photography, Make Your Mark, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile, Grandparents of Jackson Adams, Tri-State Fence, Emerson Cattle Company, Iron Horse Bar and Grill, Deborah Borchelt, and Pole Concrete. The Nick Hart Show, a special presentation of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, Wabash Valley College's Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department, and 89 Won the Bash, starts now.
Good evening and welcome into the Nick Hart Show here on 89.1 The Bash. Cole Carter and Kyler Gammett after a big win last Friday night for Gibson Southern, 63-9, the final score over Southridge. A little bit different location tonight. I am on vacation down in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Kyler is back at home in his comfy couch in Mount Carmel. But we're going to be joined by Nick Hart here in just a minute. But Kyler, really a dominant win last Friday. Exactly what you wanted to see after the tough loss against South Warren.
Oh yeah, and I really liked how the team responded. You know, after getting that awful loss against the Spartans of South Warren, I really liked how the Titans really responded. You know, I mean the word that we used on the broadcast on Friday night was dominance. I mean, from start to finish, I mean, they were dominant, they were crisp, they were clean, they were sound, and the Titans certainly did not miss a beat on Friday night.
Especially on the offensive side, every time the offense had the football, they scored a touchdown. And that's been the case a handful of times this season. Those stats from Friday night, Brady Allen was 13 of 14 for 272 yards and 5 touchdowns. On the ground, Devin Roberts led the way for Gibson Southern on the second team side, 85 yards rushing and a couple of touchdowns. Also, Tanner Boyd had 48 yards rushing and a touchdown. In the receiving department, Rory Heltzey had 7 catches for 162 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cole McKee, 4 catches, 82 yards and a score. And Caden Hurlis had 2 catches for 28 yards and a touchdown. In the special teams department, Michael Herron with that 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And talking about that kickoff return, Kyler, we've mentioned it a couple of times this year. Go back to that Washington game. The special teams, even getting involved in the fun, all 3 phases of the game last Friday night were cooking for Gibson Southern.
Yeah, I mean, and that kid, Michael Herron, he has some speed. I mean, he has some wheels on him. No, but, you know, I think that just shows how important all 3 phases of the game are. You know, I mean, you want all 3. I mean, whenever all 3 phases of the game are on and they're clicking, I mean, you should ultimately at least be in the ball game. So, you know, to see Michael Herron finally break one loose and really, I think, shift the momentum to Gibson Southern. I mean, I think that was one of the biggest plays in the whole ball game.
So we asked Nick Hart last week about the meaning behind this game in terms of a revenge or redemption, because Southridge did beat the Titans twice last year and ended their season in the sectionals. From a player's standpoint, Kyler, do you think there was some sort of revenge mindset to these players going into that game Friday night?
There could have been. I personally think that there wasn't. Just for the sole fact of what Coach Hart said. You know, I mean, it's a whole different team. It's a whole new season. And you know, I really think that they were focused on really just bouncing back, you know, getting back to their old form again, kind of getting clicking again. I mean, you know, whenever Brady Allen misses one throw all night, I mean, you know, I mean, come on. I mean, what else can you do? But yeah, I mean, I really think that they were kind of more focused on, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but I really think that they're kind of more focused on, just kind of getting back to their form, kind of responding. And they responded, I mean, tremendously well.
And you mentioned that one missed throw by Brady. That was the one that was off the fingertips of Rory Heltzley on a deep ball there in the second quarter. But the very next play, they went right back to Rory, and he scored the touchdown. But regardless, the offense was clicking, the defense was clicking. We'll talk to head coach Nick Hart about this, but we talk about the offense all we want. We talk about Brady Allen, we talk about Rory Heltzley, Sean DeLong, Cole McKee, all these guys. But, man, that defense, if you take away the game against South Warren where the Spartans just really were too much talent, if you look at every other game this season, this defense has been so dominant.
Oh, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, if the offense has been just as dominant, I mean, the defense deserves, a ton of credit. I really want to go back and, if I can, add all of the, kind of the outscoring, so to speak, on all the teams. Actually, all the teams except for South Warren. I really want to go back and add and what the defense, really what the defense has outmatched everybody else. But yeah, I mean, they create turnovers. I mean, they're flying to the ball. I mean, Levi Dickerson is a menace on the at linebacker on the defensive side of the ball. Adrian Lukeman included, and that whole backfield of Peyton Rogers, Noah Bryant, Braden Malone, and Drew Foster. I mean, those four guys. I mean, they literally define no fly zone. I mean, for the most part. So yeah, I mean, that whole defense and the front as well. So, I mean, that whole defense, I mean, my goodness. I mean, they are always around the ball. They're flying to it. They're hustling, creating turnovers. I mean, what more could you want in a defense?
Yeah, and it's great to have a fantastic offense that puts up 60 points a game, but defense wins championships is the longtime quote. And but you're right. I think it's all 11 guys on that defensive side. That front seven with Levi Dickerson, Adrian Lukeman and company, those guys do a really good job of shutting down the run. And then you mentioned that back four, that no-fly zone. Really, it's really going to take a team like South Warren with D1 talent everywhere to really break down that defense. And it might be a while until the Titans face a team like that, or it might be next weekend when they face Mount Vernon. That's going to be a big game. But this week, they're focused on Heritage Hills. Kyler, you know the Patriots very well from your playing days, and every year a rival for Gibson Southern. It's always a fun time when these two teams play.
It is, and it's I always like going to the quote unquote jungle as what they call it, and maybe getting a win there, but maybe not the road trip. But no, I mean it is always great, to be at home, especially whenever you're playing Heritage Hills, because I think that I think whenever you're playing anybody, you always want to be at home, but I think especially Heritage Hills, it makes it a little bit more sweeter. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure whenever we talk to Coach Hart in a minute, I'm sure that he'll say this as well. I mean, they're so well coached. I mean, they are such a great program. They're really technically sound with especially their offense, because they don't run the traditional nowadays, quote unquote, spread offense, or, kind of like what Southridge did, I rarely ever see Heritage Hills in shotgun. They might a little bit, but they won't be like Southridge where they're in the shotgun, or Gibson Southern and win the spread. So yeah, I mean, but they are so technical with their offense, and their defense is just as loaded every year.
And the Titans did beat the Patriots twice last year, 38-0 in the regular season, and then 21-10 in the second round, or in the first round of sectionals last season. A good chance they could see each other again in the postseason this year, but time will tell. We'll take our first break of the night. When we come back, we'll be joined by head coach Nick Hart. It is the Nick Hart Show here on 89.1 The Bash, as well as bashradio.com.
The Nick Hart Show is made possible by the following silver-level sponsors of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters: ADG Architecture and Design Group, Gady Oil, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solman Photography, Make Your Mark, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile, Grandparents of Jackson Adams, Tri-State Fence, Emerson Cattle Company, Iron Horse Bar and Grill, Deborah Borchelt, and Pole Concrete. Make Wabash Valley College your priority and be the first in line for scholarships. Visit www.iecc.edu/priority and you can take the first steps toward a high-quality education at a nationally recognized college. Apply for free and complete your FAFSA by the October 29th priority deadline to maximize your award. Discover why Wabash Valley College is the financially smart choice.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show. Cole Carter and Kyler Gaiman being joined by Gibson Southern head coach Nick Hart. Well, it was good to get back in the win column Friday night. Big win over Southridge. And what were your overall thoughts about Friday's game?
I thought it was a great night for us. Our kids came out through the week. We kind of talked on the show last week that the details hurt us in the South Warren game, and it kind of got exposed how we made some mistakes on details. And we had a great week of practice, really focused on paying attention to detail, and then came out and executed that on Friday night.
It really seemed, like and we talked about last week, you wanted that South Warren game to be more of a lesson than a tough loss. And it seemed like that's how your guys kind of came out. They didn't let it get them down. They came out and played great football on Friday. Yeah,
I think they bounced back really well from it. We did learn a lot from it, and I think we got a lot better from it. But we came out and executed really well on Friday. But I think it had a lot to do with what we did Monday through Thursday in preparation for that game on Friday.
So offensively, first team offense got right back to where it was a couple of weeks ago. They scored every drive they had there in that first half once again. What were your thoughts on the offense?
Executed extremely well. And what I thought the offense did a great job of, it's not something we haven't seen, but it's not really what we prepared for all week, what we saw out of them. So I thought, our skill guys and our up front, saw something a little bit different than what they prepped for all week, and they did a great job of following their rules, and then obviously executing at a really high level with it. So, I think sometimes that's a concern when, you have high school kids and you get something that you didn't really practice throughout the week, to execute that well. When that happens, sometimes that'll take you a drive or two just to kind of, get things figured out. But, we figured it out really quick and did a great job of execution.
And you guys relied heavily on the pass game Friday, which you had the majority of the season so far. But really in those first couple of drives, it was a lot of 5 wide, 4 wide, and just letting Brady sling it. Was that kind of the game plan, or was that something that you saw in those first couple of drives that made you guys want to keep throwing the ball?
Yeah, it was a little bit what we got. We were getting a lot of man-to-man. And so, we liked some of our matchups there and what we could get. So, that was kind of the deal once it wasn't really the game plan, but once we saw, what we were getting, then that became, our most advantageous way to attack. And like you said, we're always going to throw the ball around. But to the percentage that we did, had a lot to do with how they were playing us.
And I know your offense gets all the glory on social media and everything, but your defense was phenomenal on Friday night. There's that field goal on their first drive, and then your first team defense didn't allow a touchdown the rest of the game. And really in the run department too, if you look back at the South Warren game, the Spartans didn't really run the ball all that well. And the same could be said Friday night. Your run defense was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think even that field goal, a lot of that had to do with the short field, with the penalty on the kickoff, and then they had a nice kickoff return. And I thought our defense did a great job of holding them to 3 there with their backs kind of against the wall. But no, I was very proud of our defense. I know, it's very difficult to defend those guys. There's a lot of misdirection. They executed a really high level, and I think their scheme is packaged together very well. Like if you are keying this and taking away this, they know what they want to go to, and it all kind of fits very nicely. So they're very, very difficult to defend. And I thought our guys did a great job of being on their keys and doing their job, and making a lot of plays. We played outstanding, I thought, on the defensive side of the ball for the entire night.
And how about, I know your JV team has had a pretty good year. They got a big win last night, and your second team offense came in there the second half, scored a couple of touchdowns. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. That's always great to see when, you sub out. Sometimes, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but those guys came in and executed at a really high level. I thought our defense did a good job. They don't get to see, that the offense, that they're going to see, so they didn't get to see Southridge's offense. They were going against our offense as Southridge's defense. So to come in and execute the way they did, I thought was really impressive. So, it's great that those young guys are getting some reps and good reps. And, we've lost some JV games early in the season. So, it is really nice when we can get those guys in and get them some extra reps.
And I really liked just the overall response on the sideline of the first team guys as well. They were getting excited for the second team guys. I remember when I was playing, you'd preach to us, if the second team guys are going to get excited for you guys, then you have to have the same, since we're all, a team. And I really like the response from the first team guys, whenever a second team guy would score, whenever Luke Foster got that fumble recovery, a lot of guys were excited for him. So I just think the overall response on the sideline was great as well from the starters.
No, it is great. I think, it's just a natural tendency for those guys when they sub out, they kind of hang out on the bench and they're not, super involved. And I'm talking years past, not this group. This group does a great job. They stay in the game. They stay involved. Maybe too much. I kept having to yell at them to back up, because they were creeping out towards the box because they were cheering those guys on so much. But, it's great to see. And it's when you got things really kind of rolling in the right direction, within your team, and those guys are cheering the young guys on to continue to make plays when a game is essentially already over. That really shows that you care about your teammates, the program, all those type of things. And so usually when you've got that type of buy-in and stuff, you're going to have some great results on the field.
The last question I had for Friday's game was, what is Michael Herron's 40-yard dash time? We've talked about him a couple of times this year. He's been close to breaking off some big returns, and he finally took one to the house last Friday. Man, that kid's got some speed.
He does. He's got some big-time speed. He won the sectional in the 100 as a freshman. He can really scoot, and he does some great things when he has the ball in his hand. So, it's just kind of another weapon, that we have on special teams, and I think eventually on offense, where we can get him the ball in some space and let him try and make some big plays for us.
So moving on to this Friday now, you guys get a big conference game. It's always a good one with Heritage Hills. You guys have had a history for who knows how long now, so many great games. What do we know about this Heritage Hills team who got a big win last Friday against North Posey?
Yeah, they're always one of the toughest teams on our schedule to beat. It seems like we've played each other about 48 times in the past 4 years, because we always, play in the playoffs as well. So know each other really well. It's kind of a weird deal where, you play somebody so much and there's tight games and stuff. But we have so much respect for each other, and how they, or at least I do, to them, and how they run their program and do things. And, Coach Wilkerson's a great guy, and I wish he wasn't. I'd like him to flip me off before the game or something, to, really help get into the rivalry a little bit. But, no, they're a very good football team. I think we know, and this is kind of always the key to the game when we play them. 4 possessions for each team, throughout the entire game. And we want there to be about 10. And it's kind of who gets to kind of control the tempo of the game. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try and slow down the game, use up the play clock, control the clock, keep our offense off the field. And we want to go fast and, play as many plays as we possibly can. So, whoever kind of controls that, has the best chance to win the football game, or at least it's going to go the way they want it to. And so, it's big for us to try and get some some stops and some stops early in drives, 3 and outs or after one first down and get them off the field, because that's what they want to do. They want to slow it down and control the clock and be in their huddle more than they're playing. So, it's not easy to do. It's a challenge, and they do a really good job with their stuff. So, but that's what, we got to do defensively is find a way to get some stops and get some early stops.
In terms of X's and O's, I mean, if I look back to last year, they're a very, very similar team in terms of offense. It's kind of how Southridge was, kind of that shotgun wing T formation.
Well, they're going to be a little bit more under center, and they're I would compare them a little bit more to, the service academies with what they're doing offensively with their, the option, you're going to see midline and veer, and some of those things, and then they'll get in the double tight bone as well. So, it makes it, I think the options, very difficult to defend, because it just takes one guy with one false step, with one, the guy that's supposed to have fullback, if he gets upfield too much or whatever, then you're had. So you got to be extremely disciplined on the defensive side of the ball when you're playing an option team. And that creates, some challenges, and it makes it difficult to get off the field. And then when they get in their double tight wishbone stuff, they're just, as how physical, who's going to win the physicality battle. They're going to get after you and try and, chew it up 3-4 yards at a time. So, when you play these teams, I think as you're talking you first down. When you're playing a team like this, if you went on first down and it's 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 11, okay, now they're off schedule with what they want to do. Like if we're in 2nd and 10 or 11, okay, it's not really a big deal. But for them, that like they want to be in 2nd and 6 and then 3rd and 2, and stay on schedule with what they're doing. So if you can put them in 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9. Okay, now we've got them off schedule a little bit, and you're kind of forcing them to play outside of what they want. So, that's a big thing is how can we win on first down and put them in some positions to, play in a way not on schedule and not in the way that they want to.
I think it's really important, and your defense will be just as important, but also for your offense to obviously score, because whenever you're up, 2, 3, 4, 5 possessions on Southridge, that really puts their backs against, and you're really kind of putting them against the wall if you score on multiple possessions and they're down multiple possessions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important. I think one thing that they've done a great job over the years is like they know their identity, and obviously we want to be up like 14 like you're talking about, but until it gets late in the game, they do such a great job of not panicking. Now they might not sit on the ball, the way they would if it was tight or something, but they do such a great job of sticking to their stuff and not panicking. And it's one thing we've talked about to our offense this week is I feel like in times in the past, like we're used to plays and possessions, and especially the teams we've played this year, we've played tempo teams where we're kind of tempoing back and forth. And then you that gives you the freedom to just kind of go out and play. Well, I feel like in the past, when we played Hair Chills and some other teams that kind of slow the game down, you spend a lot of time as an offense on the sideline, and then I think you almost feel like you got to force stuff, when you get back out there because you haven't gotten the ball back, and there's going to be limited possessions. So we got to, we even if there are limited possessions, we just got to score. If you keep scoring, it doesn't matter how many possessions there are. So we've kind of talked about not tightening up on the sideline if they go on a long drive and chew up some clock. And I feel like that's happened to us, before in the past is you get a little uncomfortable with how long you've been sitting over there, and you come out and you feel like you got to kind of force things to happen instead of just playing the game and letting them happen the way they're going to. And they're very good on defense. We don't need to help them out by getting uptight or forcing things because they're going to make plays on their own.
Last question I have is, as we get to the final stretch of the year, the final 4 games, and conference games, of course, big conference games. What do you want to see from your team overall on both sides of the ball as we head into this final stretch?
Well, there's some great tests, coming up here. You look at these next 2 weeks, and we're certainly not looking past Heritage Hills, but I think Heritage Hills, like I said, is one of the toughest teams, if not the toughest team we play year in and year out. We know that that's going to be a challenge, and they always play us tough. And next week is more than likely for the conference championship. Obviously, it depends on what happens this week. But even if we lost this week or Mount Vernon lost this week, it's going to have these next 2 weeks are going to have big implications in the conference championship. So, we got to just keep getting better and coming out and performing on Friday nights. I thought we made a huge jump from the South Warren game to last week. And a lot of people, well, the competition was different. So, sure. But I thought through our preparation and how we approached the game, we improved a lot, regardless of who we were playing or what the result was. And if we keep that going here through the second half of the season, we're going to have a chance to get a heck of a lot better before we enter the tournament and games, really start to matter.
Okay, Coach. Thanks for your time and good luck on Friday.
All right. Thanks.
The Nick Hart Show made possible by the following gold sponsors of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters. Hip Dentistry. In memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis. JMCO Technologies. Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated. MyTech Systems. Robert Goob Vermillion of Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Ribham Church, Evansville. Scotty's Lawn Equipment. Ten Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies. TYFL. Vogler Metalwork and Design Incorporated. Reinbrecht Homes. Stodgel Funeral Home and Monuments. Young's Auto Body, and Like Transport. The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by the following Gibson Southern Football Booster gold sponsors: Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Cordray Insurance, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Du Bois County Garage Doors, Duke Energy, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, Heidorn Construction, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Penn Orthodontics, and by Hillside Gardens.
Welcome back into the Nick Hart Show, final segment of this Tuesday night. Cole Carter and Kyler Gammon as the Titans get set for a big conference matchup between Heritage Hills this Friday night. And with me being on vacation and Kyler also being gone as well this Friday, Kyle Peach will have the action for you. That is a 7 o'clock kickoff with a 6:45 pregame show. Should be a good one, always fun when these two teams play each other. And that's really the theme. Gibson Southern might be a favorite on paper, Kyler, but you can never really count the Patriots to give their best effort and have something kind of up their sleeves facing this Titans team.
Yeah, I really think that this could be really competitive, even though we unfortunately will not be there this Friday night, but I will definitely be listening for sure. I really just want to see how this team is going to respond. I mean, because getting one win is great, but how can you just continually respond? Not trying, just like what Coach Hart said, not trying to look ahead, but there is a top 10 team in the state that you are playing this upcoming week, or in the coming weeks. So like I said, I really just want to see how they respond, to kind of a different offense, and a loaded defense.
Hey, made a good point. A top 10 team that the Titans will face next Friday, October 1st. That's going to be a tough game at Mount Vernon, but of course you got to take it 1 week at a time. And the Titans are going up against Heritage Hills this Friday night. So Kyler, we won't be there this Friday, but we will be listening as Kyle Peach will have the call. Any last words before the Titans head into a big game on Friday?
No. I think I really hope Gibson Southern can handle business on Friday. And I really cannot wait for the dandy that we're going to see against Mount Vernon in the coming weeks.
Titans look to improve to 5-1 on the year as we reach the halfway point already. It's crazy to think we are already at week 6 here in the 2021 football season. So that's going to wrap up tonight's show here on the Nick Hart Show. For head coach Nick Hart, for Kyler Gammon, I'm Cole Carter. Enjoy the game Friday night. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday right here on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show has been brought to you by the following Gibson Southern Football Boosters: Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Cordray Insurance, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Du Bois County Garage Doors, Duke Energy, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, Heidorn Construction, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hen Orthodontics, Hillside Gardens, HIP Ministry, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, JMCO Technologies, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, MyTech Systems, Robert Goob Vermillion of Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, Rhythm Church Evansville, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Ten Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, TYFL, Vogler Metalwork and Design Incorporated, Reinbrecht Homes, Stodgel Funeral Home and Monuments, Young's Auto Body, Light Transport, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Dady Oil, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solman Photography, Make Your Mark, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile, Grandparents of Jackson Adams, Tri-State Fence, Emerson Cattle Company, Iron Horse Bar and Grill, Deborah Borchelt, and Pole Concrete. The Nick Hart Show has been a special presentation of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department, and 89.1 The Bash.